Hello, everybody. This is Julie,
And I'm Molly.
and we are here today to do some special little tangling.
Yes, so we are in the fourth month of our 20th anniversary celebration, shall we say. Each month has a fun little theme, and this month's theme is,
No mistakes.
which is kind of like one of our favorites, so we're pretty excited.
We could have done a whole year on no mistakes.
Oh my gosh, should we? Next year. Totally. It's on. Game on, Julie. So today we are like digging back into something that like a little trend or an idea that's been in the Zentangle world for a long time, inspired by the no mistakes philosophy. And we were digging back like how long ago this was. It was like way, way, way back. I'm thinking like 2013. I remember doing classes down at this little local place, and we were doing these like ink drops, kind of inspired by my mom's story. I suggest looking that up if you haven't heard the story about Maria's ink stain journal.
Project pack number 6.
It's a beautiful one. I remember doing classes where we would kind of play around with different ink washes and how they fell naturally onto the paper and then tangling around them. Later, we saw people playing around with spills of perhaps libations that people enjoy, including maybe coffee or tea or wine.
Yeah. I think it was CZT Sharon McKenney who really kind of took off with the spills.
Yes, the
aspect
coffee.
Of it. CZT8
yes,
up in New York.
Thank you, Sharon. That was a fun one. And we thought we would dig into that specific kind of look where we took like how, like if you had a coffee cup and it had a little bit of coffee on the end and you put it on your tile and you got this ring and then tangling around it. So we've taken like sort of this broad spectrum of ideas of how to tangle around spills and ink stains and all these things, and we've reduced it down into this coffee theme for today, I think.
So excited to get started.
Yeah, so let's look at, me and Julie had some coffee.
Yeah.
We both did. And we created some tiles. So it almost creates this elegance of limits, this area to tangle, some inspiration. And the color is really nice too. So you get this kind of like rich, caffeinated kind of thing going on. Yeah. So if our
energized tile, if you will.
Julie and I both enjoy coffee, and so we both went with the coffee. But here's a bunch of tiles that we prepared with different ways that the ink stains kind of, and it is cool, like you can even see how some of the colors get richer. Oh, these are like, yes, what happened here? Like, is that like
well, that's a fun, you can't really like plan how you're gonna do this. I mean, the coffee rings, like you get ring, but I just was splattering and spilling.
Yeah, and even here you just did like a big kind of mess of the liquid just to see what happens. So there's a lot of different ways to prepare your tiles, and it's just a fun way to put your tangles down on paper, and it's in honor of all of this sort of no mistakes philosophy. What do you think, Julie?
I think I'm ready to get started.
Okay, which one are you going to pick?
Ooh, let's see.
We're going to do this tile together, but I'm letting Julie pick.
I like this one. I think this one has some fun opportunities for tangles.
It's speaking to you?
It is.
Okay, awesome.
And then we've just got a few tools here. Always welcome to use whatever you have at home. We've got some brown and black pens which really work nicely with the coffee aesthetic that we have here. I'm going to choose our tried and true black Micron 01. And then I think I'm going to work in these bands right here on the outside. So right now I'm going to leave that middle spot blank. I'll leave that for you, Molly.
Oh, thanks.
So
perfect. Yeah, I like that.
Thinking about
I think I already have an idea. I hope you don't pick it.
We'll have to wait and see.
I know.
I am going to start with the tangle striping.
It's not that.
Oh, perfect. But I just feel like these bands right here just are calling striping's name.
Julie, should we take a moment?
We should take a moment.
Yeah, I know sometimes we get so excited. It might be the coffee too, but regardless if you've had coffee today or whatever's happening in your world, we always like to take a moment before we start tangling just to honor the first step in the Zentangle Method. So wherever you are in the world, whatever time of day it is, we encourage you to just pause for a minute, take a nice deep breath. All right.
Thank you, Molly, for
You're
that
welcome.
reminder. You had a little too much caffeine this morning, getting a little bit excited.
You're good, you're good.
So now we're going to begin with the tangle striping. And I'm going to pick one of these spots and I'm going to draw an arc that goes from one side to the other of my coffee stain. And then I'm going to leave a little bit of space and I'm going to aura that arc, again going from one side of my coffee stain to the other. And I'm going to fill in that space with ink. And again, I'm going to leave a little bit of space, about the same size as that band. And I'm going to draw another arc and another aura, filling in that space. You'll see as I continue to move up my band, the bands that I'm drawing are going to get a little larger. And then as I go closer to that corner, they might get a little smaller again. If it's more comfortable for you, you can draw all your bands first and then go back and color them in. But you'll find a rhythm that works for you. And I'm going to be filling all of my bands with the striping, but just leaving that center space open. And your stain is obviously going to be very different than ours. There's really no way to make them all exactly the same. So you can just pick a spot that you feel fits. Maybe you're going to choose entirely different tangles than we are today. And now I'm just finishing my last stripe.
That looks lovely, Julie.
It's already so much fun.
I know.
I can't
really
wait to
like
shade it.
This is actually one of my favorite kind of little tangle tangents, shall we say. I've enjoyed it so much. I said to Julie, like some of my favorite tiles are done like this. I was just looking through some old ones. I actually have some framed on my wall. That's how much I really like coffee tangles.
Yeah.
Maybe because I love coffee and coffee shops and everything to do with coffee shops.
You do love a coffee shop.
I know. It's just one of my passions.
So I'm going to pass the pen over to Molly.
All right. Well, thanks. I always love doing a tile with Julie.
I know.
Okay, Julie. Well, thanks so much. I already love it. I love the way the coffee sits on here. It's kind of creating this really cool string. I love the way you've squeezed in the striping because I actually would have chosen striping there too. So I wasn't going to do striping, but it would have been like my second choice maybe. So I'm going to work with brown and I'm going to work in the middle here. Julie left that for me. And I'm thinking of using like a tangle that's like the opposite of striping to kind of like complement each one of them. So I'm going to use Senna, which is
good choice.
yeah, I love Senna. Senna is a really simple tangle, but I do have to say I think a lot of people feel challenged by it. So it's like one of those like tangles that has a lot of like nuance to it and you just have to do it a lot until you like get the hang of it because there's no like rule to it. You're kind of just like vibing with it a little bit. So
You're just vibing.
You're vibing with it, yeah. My mom loves Senna. She's a big fan. And it's also a tangle you can never, well, not that any tangle can be done twice exactly the same way, but it really just morphs as you do it. I'm going to work with the brown pen here. I'm going to work with the 01. And I'm just gonna, we usually start with sort of this like little flourish shape in the almost like a little mini fescue or muka in the beginning here. Just like a little sprout to help us get started. And I do like to put the little dark area there because I think it's a nice starting point. And I am going to just kind of echo that shape and then travel down to the outside. I'm going to do a little bit of a weighted senna because it adds a little bit of detail to it. So I'm going to just sort of weight the ends just a tiny bit, almost like it's suction cupped to the, and this is all about the aura. So just traveling a little bit further around that initial stroke and then working my way.
I love the weight at the bottom.
Yeah, it's going to create a nice, I think, contrast. Again, we're just reacting to the edge of the coffee tangle, turning my tile a little bit each time. Little aura. And then with senna, what's funny is like you aura, and then sometimes I think it looks really cool when you kind of take those lines in a little different direction and then aura again. And this is just a little detail and it kind of plays around with adding some wrinkles or
Some movement.
right. So you can see it starting to take shape. I'm going to work off of that edge of the line for a little bit. So just sort of taking off and landing, filling the space. It's all about these auras. You can do this tangle without the weighting at the bottom if you're new to this. All right, so I've gotten back around here. I think I'm gonna go back to my original starting point. This is where the kind of the nuance comes in that we were talking about, sort of playing around with using that starting point to grow your lines, but then playing around with them, maybe building off one another. Don't forget to breathe. Ease up the grip on your pen. Release the coffee or the tea. So I'm back. I think I'm getting close to that original little sprout we put on there. It's sort of disappearing, which is kind of fun. But it was sort of what got us to have this, all the shape came from that to begin with. So, and I didn't plan on how everything was going to come together. I just let it sort of evolve. Every stroke is a reaction to one that was there beforehand. There's a little drip in here. I think I'm going to fall behind it. All right. Oh, look at that, Julie. That was so fun. So Julie waited to shade hers because it was so inky that we thought we'd give it a little time. But I think I'd be okay to shade mine, and then I can hand it back over to you. What do you think?
That sounds good.
So I'm going to pick up my graphite pencil here. And I'm just going to again react to the coffee lines here and use my pencil is really sharp right now, which is nice. And then I think I'll just gently using that tortillon to just kind of ease the graphite up into towards the center.
You can see how Molly's being very deliberate with her graphite and treating shading just as much as part of the process as the actual tangles and not rushing through it. And I think that's important.
Oh, it really morphs these tangles. So worth taking the time. Little tangling trick I do sometimes too. I sometimes go back in with the tip of the pencil and add like a dark bit there, which kind of cleans it up, and little shading in the center here right around our little sprout. And then we have a couple of these kind of cool little
It kind of goes into itself.
right?
It's just, I love how much shading just changes everything and elevates it.
Always go back in and intensify a little bit. All right, Julie, I think we're close. I might just add a little bit of white charcoal. All right, that's very pretty.
And now I'm going to shade the striping. So I'm going to start with this graphite. And I'm going to add some graphite along the edges here. Remembering that I don't need to add graphite over the black ink because it's already dark there. And using the stain, the coffee stain, to guide me. I'm going to do that to each of these spaces. And then I'm going to pick up my tortillon. I'm just going to go and soften that graphite. Pull it towards the middle, but leaving white space in the middle. Leave that highlight. So after I have taken my tortillon to all of that graphite,
That's so fun already. Love it.
I'm going to pick up that white charcoal and I'm just going to add a little highlight in the center of all my striping.
So fun.
And then it just pops right off the tile. And
That looks great, Julie.
there we have it.
Should we sign it?
We should.
So we are going to look at a couple other tiles here in a second, but at the end of this video, we're going to share with you the hashtags where you can easily search a bunch of other tiles that have been done using this technique. And I actually just did the search and I was like, oh my goodness, there's so much like eye candy here. You got to check this out.
We'll put all the hashtags in the description of the video too, so you can easily just reference those.
Awesome. Great work, Julie. That was a good team effort.
That was so
I
much
liked that.
fun.
That was
Thank
great.
you, Molly.
I'm glad we did it together. Here's a couple others we found in the archives.
I love that one.
Coffee. This one is actually my friend Jody Genovese does this work with like rusty water, and it's a very cool. So she sent me this rusty water. I have good friends that send me rusty water. It's actually Jody, thank you. But look what I made out of it. It's like the color is unbelievable.
You guys should find you a friend that sends you rusty water.
Look at it, what it did.
I know, it's beautiful.
Yeah. So these are a couple others we found from over the years that are pretty fun. So there is that. I encourage you all to try this if you haven't tried it.
That's
yeah, that is like curvy senna, which is awesome. Check out the hashtags. Spill some coffee or tea or whatever it is you have around and have fun with it.
all right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.